Fuel up yourself with G Fuel and use code Incon for 10% off your order down below in the description to help support the Twitchiest community. Hello everybody, we are here with your Puch guide. Gonna be rocking him in the old middle lane. I presume you are here because you once again accidentally have clicked on Puch, but we're gonna do our best to make him as meta as possible. So we're gonna be starting off with a Mage's Blessing, tier 1 going into our Divine Ruin, health pot, and 2 mana pots, and of course our beat. So right now, Puch has 1 saving grace. And that saving grace is that he really genuinely does have a ton of anti-heal. He's got anti-heal on his 1, he's got anti-heal on his ult, his 3 is by default anti-heal because if you heal you take extra damage. He's got so much anti-heal and healing damage and all this good stuff. And we are in a pretty big sustain healing type meta. So that's really his one redeeming factor in Conquest. Right now, the team we're going against, you can see it's a pretty standard team. They've got a Gooby, they've got a Neith, a Guan Yu. So they actually do have a pretty decent amount of healing. I'm going to start on the other side of this wall. I'm just going to throw my 3 over the wall. It's going to put down the bleed. And I should be able to walk to lane and still get credit for that speed buff. So hopefully our bonus anti-heal will really actually let us participate in this game. So I'm going to focus on clearing these archers right here. I'm going to wait to pick up these bodies until I get level 2 because now I can throw my 1 and I can pick up all of these bodies, which reduces that cooldown on my 1. And it's going to let me pick up kind of a cheeky first blood right there. Because I had 4 bodies, it means I got to reduce the cooldown on my 1 by 2 seconds per body, and so I basically had it instantaneously back up, and so I get a little cheeky kill. That only really works on gods that that you manage to beat in the clear. And so this game, the Gooby got his 3 instead of his 1, which allowed me to out clear him. Just gotta head safely back over to our red buff so we can kind of chill out. So for the type of gods that you're looking out Puch, really, I truly don't recommend picking him. So I would do your level best. Oh my God, what a body block from that Loki. I would do your best to try to stick away from him, but if you are gonna be picking him, if you really, really like him and you're like, please, what is my meta situation? You want to pick him later into the pick stage, right? So he's not an early pick. You're not first, second picking Puch. But if you get into that 4th, 5th pick, you see that they have a Hal and a Guan Yu. You see that they have a bunch of self-sustain gods like the Anubis, whatever. Well, then you have an opportunity to pick out Puch and go for a really big anti-heal type matchup. And so we are completely embracing the anti-heal by getting ourselves that Divine Ruin as our first item. We will of course also be getting our cooldown boots online. Cooldown boots are just really, really strong. You pretty much always get cooldown boots, even on the healing gods like Hades. I'm still a fan of grabbing the cooldown boots. Now, for the second ability that you're going to rank, for the first ability that you're going to rank up to max on Puch, you do actually have a little bit of an option. I prefer to rank up the 2 most times. The 2 is our explosion damage. This is going to let us combo with our 1 and our 3 and get off a bunch of damage by itself. It's pretty much a useless ability. Sometimes you want to level up the 3 first, depending on who you're against. So some gods can be kind of tricky to hit with the full combo, and the 3 by itself is actually not that hard to hit. So if I were against like who's somebody that's gonna always heal? A Chang'e. If I was against a Chang'e in lane, I would actually level up to 3 because she's gonna use her heal as part of her wave clear. And so this additional damage is basically always going to proc onto her.
Will this turn their insides
because she is going to use that 1-3 combo for a wave clear, and then she's going to get hit by that bonus damage, plus it is going to hit her with that stun, which might actually let me combo her afterwards. But for the most part, I like to level up to 2 and go for that increased damage on the corpse explosion. If you are going to be playing Puch, you're probably going to be playing him in the mid lane. It is a short lane, which gives him the opportunity to play back and live. Your #1 priority above all else should simply be to clear the wave. On our Puch, you're really pushing for the late game. The ultra early game is not necessarily your strong suit. But what you want to do is you just want to throw out your abilities, clear the wave, and sit as far back in your tower as you can. Because when you're actually going to get pretty decent is when you start getting into the Phoenix fights, objective fights. If you could not be super far behind by the time you get to Phoenix Assault's defenses, Gold Fury Fire Giant, that's really when you get to start to utilize your ultimate as a zoning ability. Gonna keep working on that Divine Ruin. Gotta get myself a couple of wards. Wards are absolutely crucial. It keeps stopping my auto run. This is weird. Smite's been having a weird day. Wards are absolutely crucial for our Puch. Make sure you're buying them on every single back, and always keep your underside warded on our Puch. On some gods, you're going to be warding aggressively because you're going to be pushing up. Really, on our Puch, you should be playing super far back near your tower, just focusing on farm, so you can easily just ward your back left and your back right and mid to help avoid getting ganked. Give yourself just that extra moment. Now, one thing we should mention on our Puch, because people seem to forget it all the time, is your 1 actually works like Spirit Ball. I'm gonna throw down my ulti, I'm gonna throw down my 1 right on top of myself, and I'm gonna pop it immediately so I can try to pick it up for the heal. So you can pop your 1 whenever you want to. So instead of making it go the full duration, if you click this again, it will explode wherever it is, doing that AoE damage. The rest of his abilities are pretty straightforward, but that's the one that people seem to not know, that you can just pop this and just go boop before it actually hits anything, so that way you can get that little splody. All of our Puch's abilities do go through / over walls, except for his 1. Everything else you can use, even your ultimate goes through walls. Your 1 does not, though.
Your right tower.
So getting pretty greedy going for that red buff, but I knew that everybody had to back. So I'm just going to throw my full ability combo here in the wave. And I'm going to go ahead and back it up and get the Divine Ruin. We've got 20% CDR at this point, and we've got a bunch of anti-heal. Remember that they did change out Puch a while back, so his 1 does provide 40% anti-heal. Your ultimate also provides 20% anti-heal per stack, and that stacks up to 3 times. So you do actually have 100% anti-heal in your kit, technically, if they were to get hit by 3 ticks of your ulti. I still think if you're picking out Puch, that means you're in a situation where they've got so much healing. So you really just want to embrace the anti-heal and still get yourself that early Divine Ruin. It ends up being quite problematic for a god like Gooby. If he can't utilize a good Bancroft's build, then it really takes a bunch out of him. Just gotta focus on clearing the wave. Gonna throw down a little 3 right in front of me. Pop my beads. I can see that the Guan Yu's ultimate was about to end, so I pop down my beads preemptively. Now I can start walking back towards him a little bit. Kepri combo is down. I'm gonna throw it down for 1, 3, 2 over on to the Gooby. For your combination, you're standardly gonna be using 1, 3, 2. The reason why you use it in that order is because your 1 slows. Your 1 slows them, you throw out the 3. While your 3 is traveling in the air, you throw down the 2. So that way it explodes with all of the bodies, giving you maximum damage. Now, you don't necessarily have to use everything in order to use your combo. You can just do a 1, 2, or a 3, 2. But in order to get maximum damage, you go 1, 3, and then 2. For gods that I like paired with our Puch, there's actually two gods that come in mind above all else. Those two gods are going to be Geb and Khepri. The reason why I like Geb and Khepri paired without Puch is actually twofold for each of them. One, they can actually keep you alive. There's not a bunch of characters in the game that can actually keep you alive on Puch because you're so susceptible to dying because you don't actually have any getaway skill. And so both Khepri and Geb do actually have the capability to do that, which is nice. And secondarily, they also both have really good consistent setup for Puch's combo. So instead of having to rely on hitting it yourself, if you get a Gebel and then you just follow up on it, that's super easy damage. Likewise, if you get a Khepri root into pluck, super easy to follow up on that with your damage. I'm actually looking at the Gooby right here. I'm gonna throw down the ulti and just try to run away. I don't know if that's actually gonna be enough to kill him. Oh no! I'm gonna start throwing down my bodies onto myself. I'm not gonna be able to get out of that one, and we're just gonna get W keyed at by the Arthur. For characters that you really don't want to go against on Puch, pretty much everybody that's meta right now, besides the healers. So that goes anybody that's just the W key warrior, and that doesn't have to literally be a warrior. That could also be these assassins right now. That Sledge, Pridvin, Gladiator, Shield combo absolutely decimates you on Puch. He does a lot better in like squishier metas where it's a bunch of squishy boys running around trying to one-shot each other first. In these big tanky metas with a lot of frontline, a lot of people Wing right at you, a god like Arthur ends up being super problematic. A god like Set, all these characters that basically just yeet their bodies at you and you can't really do anything about it. That's kind of the disaster zone for Puch, and that is obviously the meta right now, which is why you have to be so careful with him. Should be noted that a lot of people still don't realize that there was a slight change to how anti-heal / healing work in the last couple of patches. That was a good Khepri ult, keeping that Gooby alive. So they simplified how healing and anti-healing work in Smite. There used to be a bunch of weird rules, and some things applied against some things and some things didn't apply against others, and it wasn't super intuitive. So in order to make anti-heal and plus healing more intuitive, all forms of healing and all forms of anti-healing in the game affect all forms of healing. So that means that a Stone of Gaia will get its HP 5, will get its passive reduced by anti-healing. It means that Neith's 2 will get reduced by anti-healing. It means that the Fire Giant buff, its sustain that it gives you, will get reduced by anti-healing. Xing Chen's HP 5 passive, reduced by anti-healing. All of it is reduced by anti-healing. Lifesteal, a Devo gloves, boom, reduced by anti-healing. Absolutely everything. On the same front, absolutely everything is increased by bonuses to healing. So if you have something like a Rod of Asclepius or like a CAD shield, not only will that increase your like raw heal, but it will also increase, wow, that was actually a super good little Neith combo right there. It'll also increase your HP 5, it'll increase your Fire Giant buff regen, it'll increase your Devo glove, whatever. It'll increase absolutely all of it. So you should just know that moving forward in Smite, it applies to everything all the time. For our third item in this game, we are going to do what we can to reduce just how easy we are to kill. And that means we are going to be getting a Warlock Sash. Warlock Sash is actually not that hard for Puch to stack because he can just clear the wave with his 1-2 combo at this point. And so what we want to do is we want to be able to live through whatever their frontliner is throwing at us. And so if we can try to live through a Guan Yu ulti, that would be amazing for us, just so we can get a full combo off and so we can get our ulti off in these team fights. That's basically what we're trying to do. For all intents and purposes, in a team fight, we're ending up a lot like a Zeus, where really your goal above all else is to get all of your abilities off before you die. And if you can get them all off, then it's like, congratulations, you kind of did it. I'm about to get knee ulted right here. Oh, about to get knee rooted, but I kind of had a slippery little dodge right there. Just gonna use my bodies to kind of heal me back up. Back it up. Get ourselves this Warlock Sash. After our Warlock Sash, we're gonna get ourselves an Aegis. Aegis and beads are pretty much the only two actives you can get on our Puch. Some people will commit actually a little bit more to the team fight on Puch and just say, screw it, I'm gonna die anyway. Instead of an Aegis, I'm just gonna get a shell for my team. That is also a viable strategy. Shell is such a good active anyway, that you can grab it on any roll. And so sometimes you will see an outpush literally just grab a shell and just be like, hey, I'm gonna die in these team fights no matter what. There's no point for me to get a selfish active like an Aegis. So I'm just gonna get us a good old fashioned shell, try to keep us alive. Got a Guan Yu running at me. I'm gonna try to use these bodies to heal up as much as I can. I'm keeping up my Aegis just for the Guan Yu ulti. Guan Yu ulti has begun. We're gonna get the shell off. I can't pick up enough bodies to live through. And you can see exactly why the current meta is so problematic. While I do have anti-heal for the Guan Yu, which is all nice, I genuinely have nothing in my kit that stops that from happening. Now moving into our next item, we're gonna be getting something that I only ever get on our Puch. It's not an item that I particularly like, but it is one of the only things that you can do on Puch to kind of embrace yourself, and that is going to be a Gem of Isolation. So the Warlock Staff and the Gem of Isolation is going to give us a good bit of baseline HP to try to keep us alive. And the fact that we slow with our Gem of Isolation will help keep people in our ultimate for some more damage. And because it's applying Divine Ruin, it means we're constantly refreshing our Divine Ruin procs as well.
An enemy has been slain.
Stacking HP on our Puch also has interesting implications because of his passive. His passive, of course, when you pick up those bodies, you get that bonus HP. When you get that bonus HP, if you have more HP, you're actually getting more HP for that regen. Because it's 5%, the more HP you have, the more that 5% actually represents. So you kind of double down on the being able to live through your passive. Now we're moving into about the team fight stage of the game. My number one thing that I'm going to be doing is running away. You spend a lot of time running away on our Puch. You can see I've got an Arthur running towards me, and so I'm mostly just running away from him. I'm not going to output a ton of damage right now. We've got 10% pen on our Warlock Sash. So we do have that going for us. I know that the Khepri ultimate is down. I'm actually going to try to zone them out here. Khepri ult is down. Gooby is bleeding. He might die. No, he's going to live with 1 HP. We got to try to get this Gooby kill. We need to get something off of this. All right, that'll actually put him down. And now I'm just going to throw out some ones, try to get a little bit of mana, a little bit of HP back, and try to keep myself around in this fight, preferably over walls. Speaking of over walls, that might be enough. No, it's not going to be enough. I'll throw down my slow there underneath. I don't really want to get in his way. I just want to get a little bit of damage out and stand back as far as humanly possible. Because guess what? It's our friend Guan Yu. And I don't want anything to do with Guan Yu. I gotta be very careful here. I am... Oh, gosh, okay. I'm gonna stick around. I'm gonna wait to throw down my bodies and go for the Gold Fury secure. 1 body out, 2 body out. Bleed is on it. 2 for the secure. And we grab the Gold Fury. We get ourselves out. Reminder that you can have up to 6 bodies out for objective secure to get the maximum damage on that Gold Fury and Fire Giant. But also keep in mind that those bodies can be killed. The Fire Giant particularly has a pretty easy time killing your outpush bodies. So it can be a little bit tricky to get 6 bodies out unless you time it correctly. Or if your team just goes ahead and tanks the Fire Giant away from your bodies. Which, let's be real, that's not going to happen. All right, we're continuing to stack up our Warlocks. Playing back as much as humanly possible. For our level order on the Puch, we grab our ulti whenever we can. We ranked up our 2 to max, then we rank up our 3. Finally, we rank up our 1. The reason why we rank up that 1 last is a lot of the times we're just using it for like a slow setup, or we're just using it to pick up some bodies and get some regen out of it. We're not necessarily
Be careful middle.
using it for its damage components. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna turn around and throw down that ulti just to get that Divine Ruin proc onto everybody that I possibly can. I just gotta keep running back. Good peel from the Gab. Eventually this Gem of Isolation will actually help out a decent bit. But you can see how hard it is for me, even with a Gab on my team,
America to the rescue.
to try to live through these fights. Now this Guan Yu's ultimate could be back up very soon. I don't want to mess with it. So I'm just going to sit back on my tier 2 tower and try to make sure that I get any farm coming this way. Get those stacks. Oh yeah. Get those stacks. Stack up the Warlocks. All right. Gonna get our Gem of Isolation and a Sentry Ward. We need to start getting wards around the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant. Once we get wards out around the objectives, we'll have a better odds of winning these fights. Now that Guan Yu is level 20 and the Arthur's level 19. They are absolutely huge. So until we get to around the same level as them, that's going to be danger, Will Robinson.
This will only hurt for a second.
Our goal is to let the fights break out, sit over a wall, and just kind of throw some abilities around at him. But I never truly want to be in the range of any of these guys. I'm gonna throw down a Sentry Ward as we're rotating over this way to help out with the Neath. They could just be over on the Fire Giant like this entire time. We should make sure. They have a Gooby and a Guan Yu. Gooby and Guan Yu could absolutely burn the Fire Giant without an ADC. It doesn't look like they are. So that's good. I'm gonna throw down an ulti around the back. Gotta throw down my Aegis. I'm probably not getting through this one, but I'm just gonna keep throwing out as many abilities. Throw down a 2 right on my body. That's gonna put a Gem of Isolation proc on them and slow them down. I'm actually gonna throw back my 1 to get another Gem of Isolation proc on this Arthur. He actually misses ulti, which is nice. I'm throwing down my 3. It's gonna reduce the cooldown on my 1. And they're still just chasing right out their brains. Gonna keep procking. You see, even with the Gem of Isolation, even with the Geb helping out, the good news is we actually got a left Phoenix off that. They wanted to chase me so hard that they just tunnel vision on the outpush. And so we get ourselves a left Phoenix out of that. Not bad. Unfortunately, we lost our Arthur during this as well. Okay, so now we look at their composition. Always make sure you're consistently looking at what the enemy is building. Gooby has a bunch of lifesteal. Great, we're the anti-heal king. King Arthur has a Stone of Gaia. Great, we're anti-healing. Aussie, great. This is all wonderful. Khepri, tanky. Arthur, tanky. Guan Yu, tanky. As expected, 3 tanks and 2 damage dealers. So for our next item, we're gonna go and we're gonna get a lot of penetration. So we're gonna get ourselves an Obsidian Shard. Now a Karen's Coin, wow, good steal. A Karen's coin, hypothetically, would be a nice item on Puch
To the rescue.
if it was entirely stacked, basically, when you got it. It's just simply not the case, though. So while on a god like Hell, you can get away with the Chiron's coin because you can get those stacks feasibly built up. You can get the Chiron's coin as a third item, a fourth item. On Puch, you really can't get away with getting it that early because you've got to focus on so much other stuff just to keep yourself alive. Same reason why we couldn't get, say, a Doom Orb. So it really gets hard to get the Chiron's coin. I personally would just opt for the Ob Shard, get your penetration online, get your damage, and call it a day.
This forest isn't
As much as movement speed is generally nice on gods that don't have movement abilities, Puch literally has nothing in his kit. There's no movement bonus, there's no nothing. So it's really kind of more like a Zeus, where you're just embracing the damage and the CC that you can provide. For us, this is in the form of anti-heal and slows with our Gem of Isolation, and just getting off as much as you can. Running away from the Arthur this entire fight, waiting for my abilities to come back up, looking for some friends over the wall. You have to be careful on Puch. The most important thing that you're gonna do is utilize your ulti. And so if you use your ultimate too early, you'll completely waste it. You gotta wait for the right time to get the most out of it. Arthur really going ham in the back here with Guan Yu. I'm gonna look towards the Guan Yu. Here we go. Now I'm gonna throw down the ulti. Get these guys Gem of Isolation proc. We're gonna get so much damage onto the Guan. Unfortunately, I think they still have the Kepri ult up as well. So we got a lot of damage out of that one. Hit him with a little 3 ulti combo. Slow down. Make sure you're picking up your bodies the entire fight to make sure you're getting that heal, as well as the reduced CDR. Looking for a big 1-2-3 combo onto the Arthur, but he's so hard to hit because he's got that dang movement on his autos. But honestly, not a bad fight for us at all. I'm gonna throw my one towards the Puch. He's gonna get slowed from that and hit him with a little 3 action. Pick up my ones again. I might be able to hit him with a slow combo. Yes, we're gonna be able to get him because I keep picking up all my bodies right there. I actually do get the CDR up in time. Now I'm just gonna focus on whatever is in front of me. Hit him with the slows. I'm gonna go pick up these bodies, try to get that CDR back online. That's fine. Throw down the bodies of the Guan Yu. Continually picking up these bodies as much as I can. We grabbed ourselves the Phoenix. Very nice. We pick up another kill on Guan. And we got a lot of creeps in here on the Titan. We should actually probably go for this. This is the best opportunity we're going to get all game. I got my ulti back up in 2 seconds. I'm going to pop my beads preemptively right here and my Aegis just to make sure that I stay alive to get as much damage off as possible. And we are going to be able to put this game away.
Whoop-dee-doo.
So there at the end of the game, I was grabbing, of course, my Obsidian Shard. After we would have sold our Mage's Blessing, you have a lot of options at that point. We would be down to 10% CDR plus our red pot. We're at 20%. CDR on Puch is generically good, but you don't necessarily need like 40% on him. So you could leave it at like the CDR boot plus red pot. And keep it there and go into like a Rod of Tahuti and really embrace the damage. Or you can even go into some kind of fun, funky stuff. I don't hate Shield of Regrowth on Puch. It does proc on your picking up of bodies. So it can be actually interesting. It gives you 10% CDR. It gives you HP. HP scales well with your passive. You don't get any damage out of it, which can be kind of awkward, but I don't hate the idea of a Shield of Regrowth. I don't hate the idea of a Mantle of Discord. If you want straight damage, then of course you've got the Rod of Tahuti's of the world. You've got Spear of Desolation is good. You've got Soul Reaver is also a good item if you need more percent pen. We would have had 30% with our Warlock Sash and our Obsidian Shard. You can grab another 10%, have full maximum penetration on your ultimate. It is not a bad idea at all, guys. And that is your Puch guide.